All right, welcome back to the channel. Another video. 2022 is going strong. I figured we'd start out going nice and easy with the TBR. Now I'm recording this on January 9th, so I have cheated a little bit and finished some of the books that I'm going to show on my TBR. But really, it's going to be kind of like this, the way this channel's headed. Big theme here is going to be Malazan. I'm calling it the month of Malazan. Although, as of right now, there are really only 3 books, and I'm pretty sure one of those books, it'll more just be starting it. I won't actually finish it. But that remains to be seen. Sometimes these TBRs are more of a loose guide than I'm not really someone who tends to follow a strict A, B, C, D type reading. I'll finish a book, and then if I'm super into the series, typically, even if I was planning on reading something else, I'll just carry on with that series. So just keep that in mind. With all my TBRs, it's kind of more of a, this is what I'm thinking, not really a strict schedule. So let's start off with, I've actually read 3 of these books already, so let's start off with those. I read Brandon Sanderson's Cytonic, which I spoke in my last video, which took a look at 2021 and really 2020, what 2022 is gonna look like. But one of the themes I've been wanting to hold myself to, or one of the goals rather, is to read more sci-fi. The Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson, if you guys have read it, it's young adult. It's a very easy introduction into sci-fi. I enjoy it. It's not like too deep or anything like that, but it's a Brandon Sanderson book. So it's really, really strong storytelling. He really knows how to captivate the reader, but nothing like, no major like mind-bending like themes or anything going on there. But just a very fun book. I'm enjoying the series. I probably won't do reviews for the individual books. I've kind of been reading them as they came out. So the first 2 entries in that series aren't like super vivid in my mind, but I've enjoyed it. I'll probably review the series as a whole when he comes out with the 4th one, which I think will be the final installment in it. So that was good. Started my month off strong. And to be honest, this was actually a December read, but I ended up finishing it on January 1st. So falls onto January, which is fine by me. Starting the year off strong. And then a read I was really, really pleasantly surprised with, and I don't know why I was so surprised by it, but that is Night of Knives. I think I was so surprised in a good way by it is because I know it's not Steven Erikson, so I was very reserved. I had not read anything by Esselmont, and I didn't want to get my hopes up, if you will. Their writing styles are different. You can definitely tell Esselmont has his own style, but he is a good writer. I love the book. Just being back in that world. I just finished the series like 9 months ago, and I already feel so nostalgic about it. So it was just really cool seeing someone else's perspective on it, and then also getting more background information, just more filling in more and more of the gaps was really, really cool. And the book as a story itself was really good too. I want to emphasize that as well. It's not really leaning on something Erikson built. You can tell Esselmont is his own writer and did a really good job with it. So I was pleasantly surprised. I will come out with a more in-depth review on it in a few days, usually. That should be the next video I come out with is an in-depth review, and it'll kind of kick off the year. As far as, I know it's not a reread for me, but it'll kick off the year as far as the Malazan reviews go, and that's really going to be one of my major hopes and goals for the channel as a whole, is to kind of dive really in-depth, take an in-depth look at the Malazan world, and then part of that is going to be reading all of the Esselmont novels. And that kind of brings me to my next point. I don't have a copy of it, but I may try and squeeze in, this remains to be seen. This is a very much on the outskirts as far as priorities go. But I did order Return of the Crimson Guard, which is Esselmont's second installment in his novels of the Malazan Empire. I may try and squeeze that in this month. Like I said, I'm wholeheartedly back in the Malazan world, so that may dominate my reading for the start of 2022. So that's on order. It got delayed in the mail a little bit, which is pretty typical around this time of year. So if that shows up and I feel compelled enough, I may pick that up. I think this was a pretty short read, which was nice for a Malazan book, I'll be honest. Not having like a 1,200 page book, as good as they are. Sometimes it's nice to be able to pick up a book and finish it in a few days, one that does take place in the Malazan world. So that was kind of a nice thing about this. It was a little bit refreshing in the sense that it was only 300 pages. I could read it kind of leisurely in a week is what I did. So that was good, and I think Return of the Crimson Guard is a little bit chunkier. So we'll see how I like that one. But that was the second book I've read. I know this is a TBR video, but like I said, these were all January reads. I just got done with them a little early. And the third one, the final book that I've already finished this month, is another installment for Dresden Files, White Knight, I believe. Yeah, this is number 9 in the series. I have a lot of reviews on these, and I'll come out with another one. But so far, just more of the same. They're good. To me, it's nothing like groundbreaking yet. I know everyone says that once you get to the 12th one, that's really when it starts. Its title changes. That's really when it starts to expand, change, if you will. But so far, they've just been nice, good palate cleansers. Nothing too deep or mind-bending. It's just a fun story. Harry Dresden as a character is a lot of fun. So look out for my review that month. But yeah, just more of the same. Can't go wrong with the Dresden Files book. So, all right, and that brings me on to more Malazan. I talked in my last video, the yearly review, that I was super, super excited to get to this book. This is Steven Erikson's, of course, latest installment in Malazan, and that is The God Is Not Willing, book 1 of the Witness trilogy, which follows Karsa Orlong, one of my personal favorite characters. And I literally picked this book up today. I just read one page before doing this, and I don't know if this is nostalgia speaking or not, but the first page of this is all I've read so far. The first page of this book might be my favorite first page of a book ever so far. That may be hyping it up a little too much, but I just thoroughly enjoy. Erikson's writing is so unique. It's so, I love it. So it was as good as Esselmont's Knight of Knives was. Just this first page alone kind of reminded me just how incredible Erikson's writing is. So I'm super excited for that. I have a feeling I might get through this book in like a day or two, just because I am super excited about it. And like I said, it follows Karsa Orlong, so I'm sure it will be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's another Malazan. And then also this month, I don't think I'm going to finish, but I'm going to officially kick off my reread of Malazan Book of the Falling. I want to at least, I think Gardens of the Moon has 4 books within a book, 4 parts if you will. I at least want to come out with a video for the first part and prologue, especially since Knight of Knives and the prologue of this book really do a good amount of overlap. Granted, the prologue of this is only like 8 or 9 pages, but you get a lot more detail, obviously, in Knight of Knives, which covers kind of some of the events hinted at the prologue of Gardens of the Moon. So like I said, I don't think I'm going to finish Gardens of the Moon this month, but at least I want to come out with a review of the first part, kind of an in-depth look, and really kick off the Malazan Book of the Falling reread. So what is that? That's potentially 4 Malazan books between The God Is Not Willing, Knight of Knives, which I've already finished, potentially Return of the Crimson Guard, and then, like I said, at least part 1 of this, I can assure you, at least part 1 of Gardens of the Moon. So a lot of Malazan. and we're still going. This might be a bit ambitious, but it's a new year, so you never know. That brings me to Ruin, which is the third installment in John Gwynn's Faithful and the Fallen series. Now, I like these books, but I think I picked these books up, I think, for the first time 2 years ago. I tore through the first two books, which I loved, but I think having read a lot more and just learning more about myself as a reader, I don't think I'm the biggest fan of the whole concept of like the realm, and there's like 8 different factions all kind of vying and politicking for the throne or power. I'm just not super into like the heavy politics, and like I said, the different kingdoms and all vying for like power basically. I don't know. That's really not my cup of tea. I didn't love Song of Ice and Fire for the same reason. I never finished that series, but there's a lot of Song of Ice and Fire influence in this, it feels like, and I'm just learning. Like I said, nothing against the books, but just not really my taste. I'm debating whether or not to DNF this, to be honest. There are aspects I absolutely love. John Gwynn's action is incredible, and nothing against his writing or anything like that. It's just me as a reader, that's really not my cup of tea. There are things I really like about it. I love the kind of searching for the 7 ancient weapons and artifacts that are like powered, and I love that aspect. I love the like angels and demons style battle, if you will, and like they both have their chosen champion. So there are aspects I really love. So I may power through it, see if it may just be a slump. I'm only about 100 pages. I'm listening to it on audiobook, so I think I'm about 100 pages in, and it wasn't bringing me back. Maybe that's because I took a couple of years off. Like I said, I wasn't really gripped into the series when I picked up the third installment. So there are a lot of different things, but that's just kind of where I'm at. So I don't know if you'll see a review from me or not. In the monthly review, I'll touch more, I'm sure, on whether or not I decided to continue on with this one, or if I just moved on to other things. And then my last potential book, and like I said, now that the books are physically stacked up in front of me, it looks like a lot more reading than I initially, when you're doing a TBR, you're like, oh yeah, I can read that. Oh yeah, I can also read that. Oh yeah, I can read that. So we'll see if I get through all of these. But like I said, it's a new year. It's always good to set yourself some lofty goals, if you will. So the last book actually there's a novella. The second to last book that I hope to read this month, Wrath of Gods. If you watched my last video, which I implore you to check out, I talked about how good Paternus was, which is the first installment in this. It's a trilogy. This is the second book. Paternus is such a fun, that's the biggest word I can use. It's such a fun read. Just the concept behind it is really, it's just fun. So I'm excited to pick up where I left off on Paternus. If this book lives up to that standard, I'm gonna absolutely love the series as a whole. And like I said, it may be the best book you haven't read, Paternus, because it is self-published. It is a well-known self-published book, so I'm sure you guys have heard of it. But if not, I implore you guys to check it out. And then under my stack of books, which I've piled on everything now, is actually a novella that I might be able to squeeze in because it's so short, and that's Martha Wells' Artificial Condition, second installment in the Murderbot series. And if you watch my Murderbot review of the first novella, I absolutely loved it. It's just such a unique, Murderbot as a character is so unique and so refreshing and so fun. It's a robot that has severe social anxiety. And on top of that, Martha Wells did a great job in the first one, telling a captivating story, with obviously that great character at the center of it. So I'm excited to pick up the second novella, and hopefully it's more of the same. And if it is, I'll let you guys know, and it'll be a lot of fun. So that's what my January looks like. Hope you guys are excited for the book reviews to come in thick and fast. Let me know if you guys are pumped for the Malazan content and the read along, and let me know what you guys are reading in January.